Welcome back to the channel, Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at something new in the Ash Waste. Rumble across Necromunda Ash Waste with the new Chronos Pattern Iron Crawler. And I'm not going to lie, this thing came out of nowhere, so let's check it out together. Since the release of Necromunda Ash Waste, the Guild of Coin has been merrily making its way across the desert in Cargo 8 Ridge Haulers, laden with armored containers and Prometheum tanks. But did you think this was the only vehicle they had? Of course not. Get ready to go properly off-road with the Chronos Pattern Iron Crawler. So I gotta say right off the bat, I haven't looked at this article or anything yet. I just saw the picture when I initially clicked on it, and this thing is absolutely amazing. It's awesome. I really like the Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler and everything to do with it. Obviously, I have talked about how, in my opinion, it was overpriced. I ended up passing on it, not because I didn't want it, not because I might not ever get it, but just because I knew I was just too busy and wasn't going to get to it. But now that I haven't bought that and this is out, I'm not sure I ever buy that, to tell you the truth. I mean, I think this thing is exponentially cooler. Now, don't get me wrong. It is definitely cool, but this thing is awesome. I love the tracks. Now, keep in mind, there are different rules for all this stuff and in game terms. But I'm talking about just the actual looks and like model itself. I like this thing exponentially more. It is very, very cool. It basically just feels like the armored version with treads instead of a little less armored version on wheels. So very cool. Absolutely love it. Love the style. Love the look. Let's take a look deeper. With its tracked propulsion, the Iron Crawler can drive over anything, from sand and rocks to prone enemy gangers or gunsmiths who sold you dodgy merchandise. Its sealed cab keep the driver safe with radioactive dust storms and radioactive gangers alike for a true all-terrain vehicle. The Iron Crawler even has a transport cage behind the cab, from which your gang can take advantage of numerous firing points to blast away from the comfort of their big rig ride. Ash Waste nomads will think twice before trying to carjack you now. So this just is like one more reason why the Ash Waste nomads just aren't good too, because they don't get access to all these awesome freaking vehicles. And I'm not saying they're not good, but you know, it's just a drawback, an unnecessary drawback. They should have like orc versions, like looted versions or something like that. So this thing looks awesome. It has the regular cannon gunner on top. It has a lot of similarities to the Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler, but clearly a different kit. I'm not sure how much of this or if any of this is the same components or if it's completely new. We'll have to see that in time. I do like the back. That is pretty awesome. The overall look of this thing, the like mesh grates and stuff like that. Just the details are absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, if I had a dangerous tank full of something important, I would either like put a little box of like metal around it or just like not mark it as danger so people didn't know to shoot at it. But that's just me. That's just me. I feel like this is like a big target on it. Cool idea though. Cool idea. As with the Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler, the Iron Crawler can be taken by any gang apart from the Ash Waste Nomads. Will you field it alongside the Muscle Goliath, the Sneaky Delac, or the Officious Enforcers? It's even tougher on the sides than its wheeled cousin, and it has an extra hull point making it even more durable. It's also just as customizable, arriving with 4 upgrade slots on the body, 4 on the drive, and 4 for the engines. Why not really tool up the reinforced armor and powered steering and booby-trapped fuel tanks? However you choose to field it, the Iron Crawler would be a great addition to your collection, opening up loads of narrative options for your games of Necromunda. This kit is a combination of plastic and resin. Oh, oh no! A moment of silence for me ever purchasing this kit. Resin. Why resin? And it will be available to pre-order soon from Forge World. So the truth is, it's a Forge World kit. It's partially resin. It's a pass for me. I mean, what an absolute disappointment and letdown. I have never went so quickly from being ready to purchase something to having zero interest in it whatsoever. So that is an absolute shame. This is a very cool kit, but I'm just not interested in Forge World. I don't really like resin. Like unless it's some monstrous massive kit that there's just no way. No thanks. Man, what an absolute letdown. I mean, that was literally the difference between an automatic sale and an automatic no sale. So now that we know it has resin components, it looks like it is basically parts from the regular Ridge Hauler kit. And it will probably be that. They will probably give you like the full Ridge Hauler kit and then a bunch of resin bits to go with it. I'm assuming, basically anything we don't recognize from this. Like however the armored panels go on here, the winch, the tracks. I mean, it looks like this is a lot of resin right here with relatively little plastic. But typically when you do get one of these combined kits, you're getting like all the actual plastic from the kit and then all the resin components to add to it. What a disappointment, though. I mean, this really does look great. It honestly does. It looks really good. I definitely like it. And again, I would have auto bought this. I'm not sure why they chose to make this go Forge World route. Very, very strange. Especially considering like the Ridge Hauler came in plastic. I don't know how well the Ridge Hauler did, how well it sold. I know a lot of people probably were in the same place as me where they could have bought it, they would have bought it, but it was just priced too high, so they decided to pass. Again, I'm not saying I'll never get it. But I would have preferred to get this over it. But I can tell you I'll never get this. I have no interest in resin stuff I mean, unless it's like an integral part of my game army or there's just no option to make anything similar to it. I mean, this is very, very cool. I really like it. I wouldn't change anything specifically about it. But let's be real. We could easily convert something very similar to this, either out of the Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler, out of toys, out of other model kits. There's a million options. I mean, you could scratch build something like this if you wanted. Definitely to save money, but also just to have something cool and unique. But the truth is, I'm always just opting out on resin. I mean, the truth is, if I'm going to get into resin or I'm going to get hooked on resin or resin is just no longer a factor for me, that, in my opinion, is just one more massive argument for 3D printing. Because part of the reason why I'm not just hardcore gung-ho all about 3D printing, and I have multiple 3D printers and I've used them for years, but part of the reason I don't just like 3D print everything and quit buying models is, well, because you're printing everything from resin. It doesn't hold up as good, it gets brittle over time, it can break. There's lots of things that can happen over time. I just like plastic. It's easy to work with. It's fun. Everything about it is customizable. It's great. It's perfect. So for me, I always will favor plastic and then sometimes use some other bits or 3D print something if it's not available or etc. etc. But part of the argument with Forge World is, and I try not to even talk about this, but let's talk about recasts too. I mean, the fact of the matter is, Forge World's pricing is ridiculous, and that's why there's literally a underground, miniature wargaming international black market for pirated Games Workshop Forge World products. I mean, that just tells you right there that if there's a whole other like black market industry running in the margins, that you're overcharging. And I feel like this is just going to be another thing where it's going to be too expensive. And then Games Workshop, instead of selling, tens or hundreds of thousands of these things in plastic to regular customers for a reasonable price, they're going to sell a few hundred of these things in resin. And then somebody's going to end up knocking off this and selling it for a fraction of the price. And then next thing you know, everybody that would have bought one of these for a reasonable price will be buying a recast instead, which obviously I do not condone recasting. It's terrible for the hobby. It's terrible for the longevity of the hobby. But that's obviously up to you as well. I have different views than many people do on 3D printing. I'm all about 3D printing, bits and all the accessories and terrain and stuff like that, but I still purchase my models. Now, everybody's going to be different. Everybody's going to have their own opinion. Please share yours down below. I'm just sharing mine. But the truth is, this is a huge miss for me in resin. It was pretty much an auto purchase, auto include in plastic. So this is definitely a big letdown. I got really excited when I saw this, and I am equally disappointed now. So let me know what you think. Always like to hear back from you guys. Always like to hear your opinions. Love that the community can differ, and we can all find ourselves together enjoying the hobby for whatever it is that we like. Whether it is painting, modeling, conversions, playing the game, or just, smashing up some lists and trying to build the most competitive army. So yeah, let me know what you think. Always like to hear your guys' opinions. If you are into these daily videos, reactions, reviews, and news, painting, modeling, conversion tutorials, make sure to like and subscribe. Check out those playlists. And obviously we put out at least one video every single day. Reactions, reviews, and news, painting, modeling, conversion tutorials for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, Horus Heresy, and pretty much any of Games Workshop games. So that's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. I am Warhammer Man. This is Warhammer Man Studios, and I'm out of here.